welcome to Clark Park and another season of Prairie Football Conference action here on Shaw Cable 10. My name is Dave Rozak, along with my colorman Todd Saloff, bringing you the game today between the Edmonton Huskies and the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes, the newest addition to this Prairie Football Conference. The Edmonton Huskies, probably the most improved team in the league last year. This year, and we can say this for the first time in many, many years, going for a league championship. There's the reason right there. Gary Durchik, the second-year head coach of the Edmonton Huskies. The Huskies right now sitting in second spot in the Prairie Football Conference with a record of 2-1. Their only loss coming just a week ago to the Regina Rams. The Rams you see sitting on top with a total of 5 points so far this season, and the Huskies ahead of the Hilltops, who are 1-1. Todd, it looks like it's going to be a great season. It looks like we have a two-tier league almost with three great teams and three teams that are fighting for that fourth playoff spot.
Well, there you go, and that's exactly what it is. The Huskies, they're right up there. They're on top of the league this year, at least trying to be on top of the league, and they're doing a good job so far up there 2-1 and right in there with the Rams and the Hilltops. On the other side of the coin, you've got three teams, the weaker sisters, so to speak, the Wildcats, the Calgary Colts, and here, the Winnipeg Hawkeyes, battling for that fourth and final playoff spot.
Well, the Huskies, of course, as I mentioned, in second spot in the league, and the opening kickoff goes down to the Winnipeg 23-yard line, and the first play of the scrimmage and the starting quarterback for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes for this afternoon's game will be number 11, or make that number 16, Calvin Fay. And Fay is one of those quarterbacks who can do a little bit of everything. He's a runner, he's a passer. In fact, they both, in their game last week, ended up running the ball 32 times and passing the ball 36 times. Talking to Coach Rod Outhwaite, this is a very balanced offensive team, Todd.
Yeah, they bring out into the field a couple of key performers, none more key than maybe the quarterback. Kelvin Fay comes in. He's an athletic type. You're right, Dave. He can run with the ball. He can throw the ball. Hey, he can roll out. He can give you a bunch of looks. And the Huskies are going to have to try and contain him, make sure that they keep him from making some big yardage.
Calvin Fay, second play from scrimmage, rolls to his right. He's being hurried. Gets away from two men. Gets the ball away on the run. It is over the outstretched arms of the intended receiver down there at around the 40-yard line, intended for Kevin Watson, their young slot back. And speaking of young players, a lot of young players on this Winnipeg Hawkeyes team. In fact, 10 high school starters joined this club this year for a look-see at the Prairie Football Conference.
Well, 42 eligible players from last year trying to make this team this year. They came back to camp, 22 stayed, 20 went home. It tells you, yeah, the Winnipeg Hawkeyes are young. They didn't like what they saw from some of their veterans. They brought in some young guys. They're rebuilding.
And the third down punt will come down to about the 42-yard line. It'll be taken there by number 20 for the Huskies, Rob Jenkins. Jenkins tries the right side, has some room, and is finally knocked out of bounds at about the center field stripe. Will make that the Winnipeg 54-yard line, and good field position to start the first offensive rush of the game for the Huskies.
So setting up the offense for you, Dave, of the Edmonton Huskies. They're quickly out on the field. They have to like that, and that's Jason Daly, who's going to come out of the pack, number 8. Big, tall, lanky kid. He can throw the ball. Hey, he's got unbelievable moves. That's what I can recall from last year, being able to run with it when he scrambles. He's got a lot of weapons out there.
And he can throw the ball with authority when he's on the move as well, and he rolls to his right on the move, and this time the pass is complete to number 76 for the Huskies, Alan Gruber, another newcomer to this team, another new starter anyway.
Yeah, another new starter. Alan Gruber coming out here from the county of Parkland out there in Stony Plain, Spruce Grove. He did a wonderful job making the All-Star team, making Team Alberta rather, coming close to making Team Alberta. Played in the Senior Bowl this year in the province. He's just one weapon. There's a whole whack of them when it comes to the Edmonton Huskies. You've got men like Vince Baranich, who's come back off a horrific injury last year. He's having a great start to this season as a wide receiver. Alan Gruber in the slot. Derek Graham is in the slot. Rob Jenkins, we're going to see him in the slot for the first time. And, hey, just a number of quality receivers. Ron Emanuel is another one for the Huskies.
On the measurement, just short of the first down by about 3 or 4 inches. So it'll be second and just that much to go for the first down. They scrimmaged the ball just over the 45-yard line, between the 44 and 45. The Huskies in Winnipeg territory.
Dave, I guess we can't talk about weapons enough when we don't talk about Dean Jones. Of course, Mr. Rusher himself in the PFC last year. He was the most valuable player on this team, and there's no doubt that, again, he is going to be a focus. Dean Jones, hey, he's small, but he's fast. Boy, is he explosive.
350 yards so far in just 3 games this season, and that's all-purpose yards. There's the handoff, off tackle, taken by number 37, Darcy Parasinchuk. And Parasinchuk playing a little bit of offense along with his linebacker position, and he picks up the first down.
You bring in some elephants on second and short. Why not give it to the big guy? Because you know he can crunch through to get that 1 yard. Hey, he's a fantastic player defensively, and he's showing Coach Durchek right now that he can get it done offensively as well.
Does a good impersonation of Willie Pless, the Terminator, on those short yardage situations. He'll pick up the gain, but they will bring it back for the, it looks like offside, or at least illegal motion on the part of the Huskies, so it will be brought back 5 yards. It'll be second down over again from the 49-yard line. So Parasinchuk comes out of the ball game, and they go back to their regular offense. 1 man in the backfield, 3 flankers to the top of your screen, 2 to the bottom, back in the pocket. Daly looking long and intended down there at about the 10-yard line to number 24, Dean Jones. And Jones got caught up in the defender as well as a little bit of sun in the face, I think.
Oh, sure, a little bit of everything on that play. Dean Jones isn't the kind of guy who's going to go deep very often, but when he does, he's got that explosive ability to pick up his feet and move, and that's what he did on that play. Almost beat his defender. The pass a little too far for Jones, and good coverage on the play by the Winnipeg Hawkeyes.
Warren Mulatto in there at his halfback position, keeping a close eye on Dean Jones, and so it'll be third, and a fake punt, and there is the snap and the fumble, and we'll see who recovers it. It looks like the Huskies will recover it. The question is, did they get enough of a bounce to make a first down?
Well, the snap to the up back, Reg Kirky out of Fort Saskatchewan. He's a rookie on this team. Tells you a lot about Mr. Durchek on the sidelines, giving his rookies a look, especially early pressure in a football game. They're going to measure this one. I'm not sure he got the yardage. It'll be very close. I don't think he did.
They needed to get right to the 44-yard line. It looks like the nose of the football is just over the 44, and it's going to be very, very tight.
You see Kirky?
And I was wrong.
And I was right.
Well, that's a good way to start the season off. What can I say? And so the Winnipeg defense holds, and that's got to be great news for Coach Rod Outhwaite. I can see where Gary Durchek obviously was looking to bury these guys early with a little trick play off the third down fake punt. It didn't work this time, so the Hawkeyes will have the ball on their own 44-yard line. Calvin Fay at quarterback, short drop, quick pass to the left side, complete to number 76, Paul Smart. And Smart will pick up a gain of about 7 yards.
Interesting look there by the offensive set of the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. Interesting because I say they bring 7 men up to the line on that particular play. Gave their quarterback a lot of room to look around. You knew it was going to be a pass or at least a quarterback sneak. He goes with the first option, the pass. And hey, he gets some protection, the quick hitter, and they get some yardage.
Calvin Fay out of the I formation. Motion goes to the right. Everybody's on the move. Short drop again up the middle, incomplete. Intended for number 72, Kevin Watson. But Watson couldn't quite put the mitts on that one. It was right on the numbers, but he couldn't hold on to it, so the pass will go incomplete. It'll be a third down punting situation again for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes.
You hate to see receivers drop balls like that right in the numbers. He turns around, perfectly thrown ball. You have to catch those. If they get that, they get some early confidence, the Hawkeyes do, and they know they're in for a game here against the Edmonton Huskies.
So Calvin Fay doing the punting as well as the quarterbacking for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. The ball comes down to about the 25-yard line. It'll be taken there by number 20, Rob Jenkins, and Jenkins cuts to the left side and picks up a gain of close to 15 yards. And it will be first and 10 rather, on the Huskies' 39-yard line.
Well, Jenkins has taken the first 2 punt returns of this game, and he's a gentleman who's out of Saskatoon. The Huskies bring him in here for his first season as a junior, and he does himself pretty good here. A very athletic kid. They keep him in the lineup, put him at the slot back, and he's in on the special teams doing the share of the punt returns.
Jason Daly, the handoff, off tackle, finds some room up the middle. That's number 24, Dean Jones. Jones can motor, and he does all the way down to the 48-yard line, and that'll be a gain of close to 21 yards.
Well, up front, the Edmonton Huskies said, listen, we're a little more aggressive. We can push some guys back this year. We're explosive off the ball. Chris Mallow, number 57 at the center. You've got Simpson on the guard. Over at the tackle position, Schaefer. The other guard the other way is John Selmas and Gary Huft at the tackle position, and they open up a hole and allow Mr. Jones to do what he does best, and that's run.
Off the handoff again. This time it'll go off the left side, and it'll be taken there by number 22, Theron Beanert. Beanert from his fullback position will pick up a gain of close to 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6 from the Winnipeg 45-yard line.
Nice to know if you're an Edmonton Husky fan that you don't just rely on Dean Jones, because if you've got more weapons like a Theron Beanert, like receivers like Emmanuel, like Vince Baranich, hey, you got a lot of different looks. It helps to explode and expose the Winnipeg defense and take them right out of the game.
Right in the pocket, all alone down at the 10-yard line for the touchdown. Number 76, Alan Gruber from his slot back position. First touchdown of the football game, and the Huskies go ahead.
And what a play, 45 yards, Daly to Gruber. I talked about Gruber earlier, coming in from the Parkland Predators football team out there, and I tell you what, there's Daly loping back in a big stride. Perfect on the button, a little underthrown, but Gruber all alone, coverage is blown, and I'll tell you why. It's not just because Winnipeg has got some rookie people in that secondary position. It's because Alan Gruber can run a remarkable pattern. He does it on that play, finds himself wide open, bang, 45-yard TD.
Point after, up and through the uprights. It's a 7-0 football game for the Edmonton Huskies over the Winnipeg Hawkeyes, and we've played just about 5 or 6 minutes of the first quarter. We can't tell you exactly because the city has not turned on the lights.
It was up there earlier. They seem to be having some power problems here at Clark Park. We'll have to ask them to fix that just for our benefit.
There it is. It's up now. And we can tell you that they've played, or we have 9 minutes, 41 seconds to go in this first quarter. It's a 7-0 football game for the Huskies, who will be kicking off to the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. Beautiful, beautiful afternoon for football, and as a result, pretty good crowd here today.
Not bad, not bad. You expect maybe more the way the Huskies are playing. However, I'm not sure, you know, what kind of people know about this. I mean, the promotion department here with the Huskies has been, well, they've been fantastic so far this year. Seen a lot of media coverage out there, and it seems to be picking up as far as junior football in Edmonton, and there's no surprise with the Huskies this year being a genuine contender. Hey, that's no misprint, Dave. They are contenders.
And nothing brings out a crowd better than the opportunity to watch a league championship contender, and certainly there's no question the Huskies are this year.
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it?
It's going to be a great season, and of course we'll have all of it for you here on Shaw Cable 10, including our next game coming up, which will be the hometown game, the Edmonton Huskies against the Edmonton Wildcats. And that should be an interesting contest as well. The Wildcats, 1 win this season so far against 2 losses, and the Huskies looking to put together their 3rd win of the season here against the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. They lead at 1-0 down to the 20-yard line. It is taken there by number 25, Junior Filbert. Filbert scampers to the left side and is knocked out of bounds just over the 40-yard line. They'll mark it out at the 43, and the Hawkeyes will take over again. Good field position on their own 43-yard line.
Junior Filbert, there's a football name, Dave.
Yes,
if you've
sir.
ever heard one, he scampers to the outside, gets some necessary yardage to bring his team out beyond their own 20-25. They're out to the 45, and hey, that's pretty good field position for the Hawkeyes, trying to find some confidence.
Out of the I formation once again, it is Kelvin Fay. Motion goes to the left. Fay pitches that way. Taken by Filbert. Filbert is knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Taken out by number 2, Joel Whitson. coming over from his right linebacker position to make the hit.
Well, the Huskies on that particular play go with what's called a 50 set. They bring 5 men up to the line, trying to be aggressive this year. That's exactly what they've adapted in their game plan this year. It's working quite well. Most of the time you'll see them in a 4-3 set. That's with 4 linemen up front and 3 linebackers patrolling the pass or the outside run.
So the gain is 8. It's 2nd and 2. Back in the pocket. Calvin Fay complete on the far side to number 22, Kerry Gabriel. And Gabriel is knocked out of bounds at about the Husky 52-yard line. It'll be a gain of close to 5 yards, more than enough for the first down. The Hawkeyes offense on the move in Huskies territory for the first time in this football game.
Maybe a little bit of a surprise, especially since this team hasn't been together that long, especially since they're young. But you have to remember, folks, that these kids, a lot of these kids that have experience, have played in the Manitoba League. That league is now defunct, but the Hawkeyes played some exhibition games here in the PFC last year before emerging as a full-time unit this year.
There's the pitch to the right. It's taken by Junior Filbert. Filbert eludes one tackler and is knocked out of bounds, but not before he picks up close to 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3. They move the ball into the 47-yard line of the Huskies.
Big boost of confidence for the Hawkeyes came last week against the Calgary Colts. They pull out a win, and it wasn't a simple win. It wasn't a close one. It was 27-7 in favor of the Hawkeyes. They controlled and dominated. Hey, that's great confidence for a young team.
Again, out of that I formation. Short drop. They kind of like that. Almost intercepted by number 5, Chris Cameron, on the intended receiver out there, who was, it looks like, number 20, Chad Polensky.
Well, obviously the secondary is getting tested early with a lot of balls thrown into that area. The Huskies, well, there you saw Mr. Chris Cameron, who was an all-star in the high school leagues a couple of years ago in Alberta. And they have a bunch out there. They have Poppet, they have Baker, Joel Whitson, who's been around here for a while. He's a veteran, he knows what to do. And Ida Keogh on the corner, a rookie. They're getting a test so far, but they're living up to billing.
Calvin Fay with the good kick all the way down to the 10-yard line. It'll be taken there by number 20, Rob Jenkins again. Jenkins finds some room on the left side. There's a flag down, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Tackle made by Chad Polensky.
This one's coming back, though, Dave. A flag on the play, a little bit of a clip or a hold on number 29, Nemi Idikio. Rob Jenkins sure likes that cutback stuff. He's been doing it a lot. I like that in a punt return. A lot of people will say, hey, listen, just go 10 yards and get your yardage. But hey, if you can make something happen, be a weapon offensively on that kick return team, on that punt return team, you start setting up field position for your offense. That is so valuable.
So they bring the ball all the way back to the 8-yard line. The Huskies deep in their own territory. Jason Daly at quarterback. One man in the backfield. Everybody goes upfield. There's the pass intended and incomplete on the far side to number 10, Ron Emanuel. First chance to see Emanuel in this afternoon's football game, and that ball just a wee bit behind him. Couldn't come back in time. He had to trap it, but the official was sitting right there and waved it right off. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Huskies. With 6 minutes, 53 seconds to go in this first quarter, they lead it by a score of 7-0. Out of the I formation, flankers left and right, 2 on both sides. Back in the pocket, looking downfield. There's the pass, incomplete, intended for number 85, the old reliable, they call him, Vince Baranich.
Anthony Alexander, the cornerback from the Winnipeg Hawkeyes, was right in the back of Mr. Old Reliable. And Vince Baranich, I'm sure these days when he hears footsteps from behind, he's thinking hard and long and heavy, because he had a broken back last year in a game between the Huskies and the Wildcats, and he's fully recovered from that. You have to believe mentally that's got to be a pretty big strain.
In a situation like that, it's amazing how good your hearing will get. You can really hear those footsteps coming up behind you when you've had an injured back.
The Winnipeg defense holding in quite well, Dave, so far. Nothing wrong with this unit at this point in time.
Vince Baranich will do the punting from his own end zone. Gets a low driving kick away down to about the 45-yard line. It'll be taken there by number 20, Chad Polensky, and Polensky is hammered. Down on the play to make the tackle was Theron Beanert. And that ball will be marked down at about the 45-yard line, just shy of the 45, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes, but they are in good field position again in Huskies territory.
Yes, they are, and you like the fact that this Winnipeg Hawkeye offense seems to know exactly what they're doing. They're coming out of the huddle, they're making the plays quick, precise, nothing fancy, simple plays, and it's working for this young team, and hey, they've got a chance now to reply with the 7 points that the Huskies put up.
6 men along that offensive front line for the Hawkeyes. The handoff will go to number 25, Junior Filbert. Filbert fights his way for a gain of about a yard or so, but they don't go a whole lot with the wideouts. They don't play. What I'm trying to say is they don't play their wideouts wide out, so to speak. It's a very compact type of offense.
Well, I think the way that you look at it, when they line up, they come out of the huddle, and often there's 7, 8 guys at the line right up beside, helping to protect that pocket, and it works for those short little yardage plays that you want, the nickel and dime stuff, because people can surprise you coming peeling off from one side and maybe hitting on a slant of about 2-3 yards and carrying for another 3.
Well, there's that little nickel and dime play for a gain of about 8 yards. The pass complete to number 8, Casey Dara, and it will be 3rd and about 2 yards to go for the 1st down. And with Calvin Fay in there at both quarterback and punter, you just don't know what's going to happen until they come out of that huddle. But it looks like they're going to go for it. So the Hawkeyes gambling early in this football game.
Why not get some confidence going here, Dave? If they make this, boy, that's a big boost.
Out of the I formation, motion goes to the right. The pitch goes that way to Junior Filbert. Filbert scampers for the 1st down, and a gain of about 4 yards. Knocked out of bounds just over the 35-yard line. And the Hawkeyes, with the gamble, come up with the 1st down.
Great lateral mobility shown there by number 25 of the Hawkeyes, Mr. Junior Filbert. Chris Cameron, number 5, breaks through, gets a hand on him. Some good blocking as well shown there. One guy that comes to mind on that play, number 22, Kerry Gabriel. And hey, the 1st down, Filbert does some dancing to get the yardage.
Jonathan Poppett knocking Junior Filbert out of bounds. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes from the 34-yard line of the Huskies. And there's the pitch out to number 22, Kerry Gabriel. And Gabriel is good for a gain of about 2 yards or so. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Hawkeyes.
Well, you look at this Edmonton Huskies offensive line, or rather defensive line. The Lacusta, Axhorn, Shea McInnes, Matuli. There's not a lot of experience. Don Lacusta coming over from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball, so he hasn't got a lot of experience at the junior level at the rush end spot. They are not very experienced, but Gary Durchik says, hey, they're learning quickly and they're doing the job. And hey, they're doing the job so far here, limiting the Winnipeg ground game. They're going around them and having to go outside, and that's where the majority of the game is coming. The gains are coming.
One youngster to take note of in that defensive backfield is Derek McNaughton, who gets the start ahead of Chris Cameron at the left defensive halfback position. And talking to Coach Gary Durchik, he was very impressed with McNaughton in training camp, and he's come out, and of course Cameron is seeing duty as well back there in the defensive backfield. But those two players certainly doing a great job defensively. On the run and getting the pass away incomplete is Calvin Fay. And some great defensive work in there by the Huskies to chase Calvin Fay down and force him to get rid of that ball before he wanted to. The defense led in there by number 44, Bill Wright, it looks like. I'm sorry, 46, Shea McInnes.
I'm surprised here that that Fay didn't use the official as a bit of a decoy. You see, the official gets kind of caught here in no man's land. Fay runs around him, and suddenly 2 and 3 Huskies are right in the face of the official. He uses him. You never know. He might buy himself another 2 or 3 seconds.
There's that 13th man.
Yeah, it comes into play once in a while, doesn't it?
So the first field goal of the game. The attempt will come from the 34-yard line. It is well short. Comes down to the goal line. It'll be picked up there. And did he get over? Well, he didn't, but the flag goes down, and it'll be a no yards penalty.
The attempt there from Sean Gauthier, who's the backup quarterback for this Winnipeg Hawkeye team. And yeah, the new ruling coming into place last year, I believe it was, Dave, if you make an attempt to get outside the goal line, if a punt or a kick or a wide field goal goes into the end zone, you're allowed to bring it out. And if it's anywhere inside the 20 that you go down, well, then they just move the ball out to the 20. I don't like it.
Well, they say he made it out over the goal line.
They'll tack on no yards onto that as well.
Tack on no yards, so it'll come all the way up to the 25-yard line, and the Huskies will start out offensively from that position with 2 minutes 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. Edmonton leading Winnipeg by a score of 7-0. Jason Daly at quarterback, 1 man in the backfield, 2 flankers to the bottom of your screen. There's a handoff, off tackle, and stopped after a gain of just a couple of yards is number 24, Dean Jones.
Well, you take us back to the first couple series here for the Huskies. They did get 7 points off their second charge. The first charge down, however, came up a little shy. Gary Durchik said, hey, listen, we'd like to bury these guys early. You talked about it, Dave, because the last time these two teams played was 2 weeks ago in Winnipeg. It was a closer game than the score might indicate, 1-0 with 13 seconds remaining in the first half. So Durchik wants to get everything going in his way.
Daly is sacked for a loss of close to 10 yards. And in there to make the tackle was number 56, Lorne Huckelak, from his defensive tackle position. And a big defensive play for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes, who are gaining momentum as this first quarter goes on, Todd.
They are, and credit the secondary for partial sack assistance on that one, because they had good coverage downfield. Daly couldn't find his intended target, and he decided he was going to eat the ball. Hey, that's a good play for a quarterback to make. He's in his second year with the Huskies, and he said, listen, I'm going to eat this one. Sit down on the ball, and exactly what happened.
So Vince Baranich will stand back at his 2-yard line to punt this ball away.
You don't want to throw that bingo.
No. There is the snap. The punt is a good, high, spiraling punt all the way down to the 40-yard line of the Hawkeyes. It'll bounce down to the 25-yard line and tackled way back at the 20-yard line. The Hawkeyes will take it from there. The receiver on that punt was number 7, Greg F., and that'll go down as close to about a 65-yard punt as you're going to get.
Well, he sure didn't look like the receiver on that play, Dave, because he didn't want anything to do with that punt when it came down. He didn't give it a very good effort, and as a result, the punt, hey, Vince Baranich gets off a beautiful one, pins the Hawkeyes way back, and this goes back to that sack that Jason Daly took. He doesn't want to throw that interception, not when you've got a punt like Vince Baranich had there on that last play.
Flankers left and right, out of the I formation, the Hawkeyes from their own 20-yard line. The pitch goes to the right to Junior Filbert. Filbert fumbles the ball. It's recovered by the Huskies at the 27-yard line. The Huskies will take the football over and are standing on the doorstep of the Winnipeg Hawkeyes.
Well, this one, you can give it to Mikawos, the middle linebacker, comes across here. You're going to see him strip the ball here as he comes to try and make the tackle. Pulls the arm back from Filbert. Parasinchuk jumps on the ball. And the Huskies, hey, in 2 plays have gone 80 yards, and they haven't even been on the offensive side of the ball.
Joey Mikawos recovering that fumble. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Huskies from the Winnipeg 28-yard line. Rolling right, Jason Daly. Daly looking downfield, has a man open, then decides to hold on to it. Takes the ball and scrambles for a gain of about a yard or so, if that. And Daly just could not, I guess, didn't see the open man down on the goal line.
Yeah, fairly tough. Gruber was running out of room down there on the sidelines, and Daly said, instead of throwing this one out of bounds, why don't I tuck it under the arm, see if I can get around this guy, because if I can, I've got some green in front of me. Not a bad play by Daly to say, hey, let's not throw this away. Let's see what I can make out of it. And he makes, 1-2 yards. Hey, there could be worse scenarios.
Got to be impressed with the thinking of Jason Daly.
I like it.
He's showing the composure of a veteran. Back in the pocket, there's the pass. Incomplete, in and out of the arms of Dean Jones, who could not hold on to it, but now there is orange all over the field. 2 of them coming down at the same time. So we'll just hold off here and wait to see what the call is. It's going to be against the Winnipeg Hawkeyes.
Unnecessary roughness. I'm not sure whether Daly was hit late or not. He wasn't on his duff at the end of the play. We'll have to have a look, though, but this is really going to cost the Hawkeyes, and if I'm Coach Rod Outhwaite, I'm very upset at my players, because an unnecessary roughness call you just can't accept at any point in the game, especially when you've got a little bit of momentum and you're trying to stop the tide from turning and you're already down 7-0.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Huskies. The ball is on the Winnipeg 12-yard line. There's the handoff to Dean Jones. Jones loses his footing. Didn't look like he was going anywhere anyway. On the tackle was number 40, Troy Gabriel. And along with number 99, Jason Park, coming up from his linebacker position. So it'll be a loss of 2. They bring it back to the 15, make that a loss of 3. It'll be back at the 15-yard line. 2nd down, and we'll call it 13 yards to go for the 1st down. Out of the huddle, 1 man in the backfield, 3 flankers to the top of your screen, 1 to the bottom, back in the pocket, and Jason Daly gets the rush, but he moves away, has a man open, complete on the 3-yard line, touchdown! Rob Jenkins, the Saskatoon product, with his first touchdown of the football game.
Well, Gary Turchek's looking like a genius at this point, because they flip-flopped him, and Reg Kirky moved Jenkins from the backfield into the slot position, and a great little pattern run there by Jenkins. Kirky goes from slot back to running back. He's a very good blocking back, he is. But an excellent play there by Jenkins to run his pattern, get wide open for Jason Daly. Daly coming over, loping to his left side and hitting his man. That was just beautiful. Well executed, gets away from 1 man there, you see there, and then Daly finds his marker. Really, the release valve on the play. Number 20, Rob Jenkins, the TD.
There's the point after, and the Edmonton Huskies will take a 14-0 lead over the Winnipeg Hawkeyes at the end of the 1st quarter of play. So, Todd, I tell you got to be impressed with, as I mentioned earlier, just a couple of minutes ago, first of all, the thinking of Jason Daly, but again, I mean, we saw it last year. His mobility is really his key.
Well, it doesn't look like he's the kind of guy who's going to get away in the open field, but hey, he's tall and he can lope, and suddenly he's got some moves when he wants them. He just calls upon them, conjures them up, and says, okay, I'm stepping around you and I'm buying myself some more time. It's exactly what he did on that last touchdown pass. I like this Huskies team, but this Hawkeyes team, Dave, you're right. You said off the top of the show, it might not be an easy one for the Huskies. We were talking about that off air. And, hey, the Hawkeyes are not out of this one yet, especially if they can regain some of the momentum they had in the middle part of that 1st quarter.
Now here's an interesting way to kick the football off. They all go into a huddle and then just charge the football. Someone kicks it, and it'll be picked up at about the 15-yard line. Taken there by number 2, William Hazel. And Hazel does a good job of picking up a gain of close to 25 yards on that kickoff, and he is run out of bounds just shy of the 40. They'll mark it down at the 38.
Well, they set up that wall to the right side, or to the left side rather, and the returner on the play, Hazel, just charges that way, a little more aggressive. If he's a little more aggressive in his rushing style, maybe he collects a few more yards, goes downfield, maybe breaks one and pops one. But he waited for that line, that wall, to help him out, and the Hawkeyes, again, have got some pretty good field position off the kickoff.
Out of the I formation, everyone up on the line now. Short drop, there's the pass, complete. A gain of about 7 yards on the play to number 76, Paul Smart.
Smart play. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's simple.
I was waiting for it. I'm sorry. I was waiting for it.
With the Hawkeyes, the way that their offense is rolling here, it really is just simple stuff.
Yep.
He just goes out 5 yards, stops, turns around. This is a 4-step drop, and the quarterback, Fay, just hits him right in the numbers. Nothing wrong with that. That gets you yardage anytime.
There's the handoff up the middle once again to number 25, Junior Filbert. Filbert will pick up another gain of close to 7 or 8 yards, more than enough for the 1st down. They move the ball to the 51-yard line. The Hawkeyes still in their own territory, but on the move and showing some good heads-up offense.
Offensive line doing a good job there to create some holes. Marco Perschetti and Graham McKendry, the center, doing a good job to push back. The Huskies create the opening for the first down.
Motion to the right, there's the pass, incomplete to Junior Filbert. Filbert make that number 22, Kerry Gabriel. Gabriel coming out of the backfield and being covered on the plane by number 5, Chris Cameron.
Chris Cameron seeing a lot of action so far in this game as far as the ball's coming his way. He draws Gabriel on this play, and he's almost going for the INT on that play. If that ball's underthrown, Cameron's got it. He's walking the other way for 6 points. I know that the Huskies are trying to preach the aggressive attitude, but if you're a cornerback, a slot back, or a DB, you have to be careful, because you certainly don't want to get beat one-on-one on plays like that, especially with a quarterback like Fay. He seems to be right on the numbers with the majority of his passes. Good athlete.
Now out of the shotgun formation for the first time in the football game, Calvin Fay back in the pocket looking. Can't find anyone, decides to hold on to the football and is tackled for the sack by number 46, Shea McInnes. And McInnes having himself a great first half. That's a couple of them so far.
Well, McInnes has come to play this year. Last year, he got some spot time, and when he did, he made the most of it. This Husky, he's a veteran, and Shea McInnes shows you right there. He can get away from some blocks and take the quarterback down on a broken play like that. And again, it sets up third down and the punt formation. And one thing Gary Durchek said, that this year's team is vastly improved in the special teams department, and they've shown it so far here today.
And the reason for that is he's playing mostly rookies out there, guys who don't get a chance to see a whole lot of action during the football game. But when you put some hungry rookies out there in the special teams, they can do a great job. And with the football doing a great job again is number 71, Chris Dunlop. And Dunlop will carry it all the way down to the Winnipeg 25-yard line. There's going to be an illegal blocking call against the Huskies, but that run back was close to about 48 yards. And no matter where they place the football, it will be deep in Winnipeg territory.
Yeah, the block coming at the very end of that particular run back, in on the play to hurry that punt. And I'm not sure if he didn't get a hand on it. Scott Matuli, one of those explosive rookies that you talked about in the special teams. He's also starting defensively at the rush end, at the weak end on the line. But there you see the push from behind, and that's why it's coming back. Well, no, it's not, Dave.
The call goes against, actually, it goes against the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. And so it will be 1st and 10 for the Huskies. And the ball is on the 13-yard line. There's the handoff to Dean Jones. He has some room up the middle. Touchdown! Dean Jones finds the hole and goes in for the 6.
A 14-yard delayed draw right up the middle. That's not a Dean Jones play, simply because when you've got that kind of explosiveness, you like to give him the ball early so that when those holes open up, he's right there all the way. But the offensive line does a masterful job of creating a huge gap right in the middle of the Winnipeg defense. And Jones takes 1, 2, 3 steps. He gets through, and there's lots of time for him to go loping into the end zone. The 6 points for Jones and the Huskies.
A point after from Parasinchuk. The ball is out, it's up, and it's through for the single point. And it's a 21-0 football game with 12:14 to go in the second quarter.
Boy, is there nothing that Darcy Parasinchuk
can't do?
Can't do.
We haven't seen him play quarterback yet.
Well, don't ask.
In
don't
3
ask.
years, in the 3 or 4 years that we've been doing this.
Oh, he's been a remarkable Husky over the years. He comes back in here as a veteran. You know, he is an all-star. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, All-Canadian last year, or All-PFC last year, and All-Canadian, yep.
And of course, on this team, he's just a stellar standout defensive linebacker. And he can kick that ball, and we've already seen him rush once to try and get a first down on short yardage. He did get the first down, if not for the penalty. And he's kicking the extra points, and he's right up there in PFC scoring, Dave.
Now watch this, this kickoff formation that the Huskies have. Everybody heads for the football, and Parasinchuk kicks it off. It'll come down to about the 20-yard line. It'll be taken there by William Hazel. Hazel tries the right side and is smothered after a a gain of close to 15 yards. And Hazel doing a little trash talking down there. But everything is quiet along the bench, so it will be a 1st and 10 situation for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. And again, they have the ball up around their own 40-yard line. It'll be about the 38 where they mark it down, 1st and 10.
Key thing here for the Hawkeyes is to come out and just keep going with what their offensive game plan is. It's been working to a point, but they can't have any drop balls, and they have to fight for those extra yards before they start rolling back and trying to get back into this one.
A lot of time. There's the fumble. It'll be recovered by the Huskies.
Oh, that didn't help.
Junior Filbert fumbles the football for the 2nd time in the game. And it looks like in there to make the recovery was number 5, Chris Cameron.
He was in there. I'm not sure if he was on the bottom of the pile or not. You see the line here, all they do. Oh, number 50 gets in there. Number 70 gets in there for the Huskies to punch the ball loose. Good play there shown by the Huskies to knock it loose. Wes Chalafu, Chad Dorsch in there. And the recovery by the Huskies, doesn't really matter who, they'll take that as a team.
Out of the I formation, fading back in the pocket. And there's the screen pass intended for, it looks like number 22, Theron Beanert. But Beanert could not hold on to it. That was a little slow in developing as far as screen passes are concerned, and didn't quite come off the way Jason Daly had hoped it would.
Well, you didn't want Beanert to catch that ball because he was going nowhere on the play. Good coverage there, shown maybe a very good read by the Hawkeyes. They were right there and saying, listen, if you're going to go screening, you're not getting too far on us.
No question, it was a read on the part of the defense that quashed that play.
Lauren Huckelock, the defensive tackle right there.
Rolling right, Jason Daly looking around, has some room, finds a man open, incomplete. Big hit on the play just as they got to the football. Was number 27, Anthony Alexander.
He's a pretty good little defensive back. We've seen him a couple times now do the job. Out there at the cornerback position, Rob Jenkins getting slobber-knockered on the play.
Say that again?
Slobber-knockered.
Slobber-knockered.
That's from my past, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Let's not talk about that. You know, Dave, there have been fellow announcers besides you.
Slobber-knocker. I don't believe it. Okay, here we go with the 3rd down punt. He'll get it away from about the 50-yard line. Baranich.
Oh, tough to handle.
Low over-end punt that will come down and out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Baranich, quick thinking on his part right away.
Nothing wrong with that. Low driving, kick it out of bounds, tough to handle. Hits that green grass and never know where it's going to bounce, especially if you're a punt returner. They always say the high spiral ones are what you want from a punter, but you know, those ones are easy to field. It's the ones that are low and wobbly that can create nightmares for the team that's running the ball back.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. The ball is on their own 11-yard line. We're early still here in the 2nd quarter of football. The Huskies leading the Hawkeyes by a score of 21-0. There's the handoff to Junior Filbert. Filbert gets away from one man, but not from big number 50, Wes Chalafu, coming up from his left linebacker position. Chalafu with the tackle.
Oh, Chalafu coming into the linebacker position. Travis McCallum usually on that linebacking core and doing an all-star job for the Huskies. He's hurt right now. They bring in number 50, Wes Chalafu, another product from Stony Plain, and he comes in, textbook tackling right there, put the head down between the numbers of the player, drive him back. Nowhere to go there. Excellent play there. Filbert just couldn't find any yardage.
Short drop again for number 16, Calvin Fay, but he will not get away from the onslaught led by number 70, Chad Dorsch.
Well, Chad Dorsch out there, he's a rookie, another Stony Plain product. He's a big handful out there, but the big handful on that particular play, Darcy Parasinchuk coming up with the big QB sack as he comes from his outside linebacker position on the strong side. He was naked coming that way. And he tried to undress Fay on the play.
Well, you know, talking
Put him in the dirt.
to Coach Rod Outhwaite, he said our biggest concern on the Huskies defense is the fact that they have an outstanding linebacker core.
Oh, and they do, and that's without McCallum today. So you put in McCallum, and what do you got?
Taking the punt is number 71, Chris Dunlop. Dunlop gets away from a great attempted tackle in for the touchdown. A run back of 35 yards for the touchdown. And the Huskies are starting to run away with this one with a 27-0 lead here early in the second quarter.
Well, there you go. Dunlop just sees green and goes. Not a lot of pressure shown downfield by the Hawkeyes. He makes a stellar jump there, stops and jumps over his man, dances into the end zone. Chris Dunlop, about a 40-yard punt return for the TD.
He looked like Carl Lewis on that play on the hurdles.
On the hurdles. On the long jump. It wasn't graceful, folks, but it worked.
But they're going to bring the football now down to the 20-yard line.
They got to do it over again.
They're going to do it over again. There's another flag on the play.
That's what it is right there, contacting the kicker. So Dunlop gets a second chance.
Dunlop will not do as well on the second chance. We didn't see that flag come down, but there was obvious contact on the kicker, as we saw on that replay. And so the Huskies will field the ball at about the center field stripe. They will maintain their 21-0 lead.
Hawkeyes had the option here of going 3rd and 1. They're bringing her back again.
They're going to bring it back again.
Let's see this. Right here, did he hit him again? And that's another one. Or is that the first play?
No, that's the second one.
That's the first one.
That is the first one, according to our director, Rick, down in the
61, Mark Axhorn, accidentally touching the punter, Fay.
So this will bring the football all the way up to the 30-yard line, which will be enough to give them the first down, and the Hawkeyes maintain possession. And, you know, this is exactly what happened 2 weeks ago between these two teams. The Huskies could easily have won the football game by a greater score than 30-8, but they were killed by penalties. In fact, most of the Winnipeg points were scored thanks to penalties by the Huskies, just a lack of discipline more than anything else.
Well, more so last week against the Regina Rams.
Against the Rams
when they came to town, the Edmonton Huskies gave that team, which is a stellar program, a run for their money. But offside calls especially hurt the Huskies, and they lost a tearjerker, a heartbreaker, whatever kind of emotion you want to put into it, because you just don't get a chance to beat the Rams very often if you're an Edmonton team.
So after the gain of 13, it's 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes again. And from their own 48-yard line, the pass intended for number 8, Casey Dara, and it will go incomplete.
Steve Baker almost with the bingo on the play. Number 19, there you see him. He's shaking his hair a little bit, saying, guys, sorry. The tip drill, they'll practice that maybe a little bit. As you see, through the hands of the intended receiver right up there. That looked like Darren Flutie pushing it to the Saskatchewan Roughrider cornerbacks a couple of weeks ago.
So 2nd and 10 from the 48-yard line. The Hawkeyes in their own territory. Rolling to his left is Calvin Fay. He's being chased. Gets away from one man. Now he's being chased to the other side. And he is gone on his bicycle. Gets the ball away. Almost intercepted. In and out of the arms of the defender. Looks like it was number 5, Chris Cameron. Cameron holds onto that one, and it's 7 points right now.
Well, good read there by the Husky defense. They flood the right side of their line, and they go attacking. And there's Scott Matuli, the rookie, coming into your picture, getting a hand on Fay. He gets away. Darcy Perrin-Sinchuk saying, I'm going to chase you till the cows come home. He sticks right with him. And Fay should have thrown that ball away. It almost wound up being, well, then again, he might have gotten intentional grounding if he had of. Almost ends up being a pick the other way for Chris Cameron.
So Fay gets the punt away, but the last couple of attempts, boy, I'll tell you, the Huskies have come awfully close. Comes down to Dunlop. Dunlop has room on the left side. Dunlop at center field, the 45, and knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Scott Dunlop.
Oh, Chris Dunlop.
Chris Dunlop.
Well, I tell you what beautiful execution by the special teams of the Huskies. They've been motoring these past few weeks, improving. Some great blocks thrown there, some hits, some blocks. Number 50, Wes Chalafu, who's had a remarkable first half so far, coming across, laying an absolute triple-decker sandwich on the man, on his man, taking him down. Rob Jenkins also throwing a big block to Spring Dunlop, who's already got a touchdown called back today. 21-0, Dave, and the Huskies gaining all kinds of momentum here in the second half after having troubles putting up some points on some of those early drives in the first half.
So they mark the ball down at the Winnipeg 38-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Huskies from that point. Out of the I formation. 3 flankers to the top of your screen, 1 to the bottom. The handoff to the first man through. That is number 22, Theron Beanert. Beanert at the 10, the 5, touchdown. Will they call it back?
I think it's going to be holding against the Huskies. We'll have to see. Boy, penalties, yes it is. There it is, hold back the other way. It was right at the point where Beanert found the room up the middle. And a little hole to go a long ways into putting your man into the end zone. Of course, at times it also goes a long ways in putting your team 2nd and 20, which is what it does on this particular play. Sometimes there's reasons why there's holes, Dave, and sometimes it's not legitimate how they're afforded that kind of room up the middle.
That is one of the finest pieces of broken field running that I have seen in this league in many, many years. I mean, he was using his straight arm to perfection on at least 3 or 4 occasions to knock the defenders away. It all goes for naught. There's the handoff this time. Second man through. Dean Jones. Jones finds some room on the left side. He's down to the 20 and is knocked out of bounds just over the 20-yard line. They'll mark it out just about the 19, I would suspect, when all is said and done.
Well, a little trap there by the Huskies. John Selmas throwing a block right there. Number 54, number 62, Jason Simpson doing a job. The big horses just push apart the hole for Dean Jones to run to, and he runs to it, through it, down the field, down the sidelines with a big loping first down.
Gain of 19 yards. They'll move it down to the 13, make that the 12-yard line. There's a handoff up the middle, going nowhere. The ball carrier, number 22, Theron Beanert. Beanert being tackled on the play by number 56 for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes, Lauren Huckelak in there again.
Suddenly the rush, he's had a great game, Lauren Huckelak. Suddenly the rushing starting to work for the Huskies here in the second quarter. You know you've got Dean Jones anytime you want him. Theron Beanert is coming out here and finding some holes, making it work, and all this does is pump up the Husky offense, because now they've got options. They can go out to the left, they can give a pitch, they can go to a draw A, and then you go to the air and you find guys like Ron Emanuel. It spreads out the Hawkeye defense, and bingo, they are really juiced up here in the second quarter. The Huskies are just flying.
Well, isn't that really the difference on offense for the Huskies this year from last year? Last year they were basically a one-trick pony. Dean Jones. Sure. And of course Jason Daly, was showing a lot of movement as well.
Well, he had to find Jones.
Dean Jones was by far the outstanding player on that offense. And this year, Theron Beanert is showing great things out of the backfield. Of course, Jason Daly is always a threat to run, and the Huskies just seem to be able to spread the football around a little bit more.
Well, Jones has 368 yards rushing coming into this game. Vince Baranich, 16 receptions this year, 242. That's good enough for second best in this league, behind the stellar Kelly McNairn out of the Saskatoon Hilltop camp. And passing, well, Jason Daly, not quite 50%. I don't think his totals this game are 50%, but he's up there close to that margin. 6.4 yards per gain, which is nickel and diming it, that's for sure. Only 3 interceptions, that's 1 per game. That's not bad in this league. His efficiency rating, I'm not sure how you ever get that, but it's 63.4.
Daly rolling into his right again, into the end zone, and it is knocked away from the arms of the receiver, number 85, Vince Baranich. And so it will go for naught. It will be a third down situation. The ball is on about the 8-yard line, and so we'll be looking for a field goal attempt.
Well, tough execution on that play. It was going to be low percentage for two reasons. Good coverage there shown by Anthony Alexander again. He's having a great game here for the Hawkeyes. The other reason, well, that was low percentage from the get-go, because when you've got a big guy like Jason Daly running that way and in that style, it's going to be tough to hit a guy. And it was pretty much low percentage from word one of that.
So Parasinchuk with the 20-yard field goal attempt. Little chip shot. It's good. And the Huskies will take a 24-0 lead with 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the first half of football. Now, I should mention, fans, we are kind of guessing at the clock because it is coming on and going off and coming on. Right now it is on. As I speak, it is on. Yes, 4 minutes 21 seconds, but by the time I finish speaking, it'll probably be off again.
It's like the flashcards in math class, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Kind of put it up there for a second. If you can catch it, write the number down, the equation down, and head off to the next question. But yeah, it's given us some problems here.
So off the field goal, the Hawkeyes will take the football over on their own 35-yard line. Still in at quarterback is number 16, Calvin Fay. Out of the I formation, motion goes to the left. There's the handoff to junior Filbert. Filbert stops, starts, tries to get around the left side, but is run out of bounds by number 20, or make that number 2, Joel Whitson, coming up again from his linebacker position.
Well, the Hawkeyes have had a little bit of success going to the outside. At least they did in the first quarter. The second quarter is not working as well. Filbert's not nearly getting enough time out there. The reason for it, well, this is an aggressive defense. As I've said before, the Huskies will pursue, and that's exactly what they've done to take away the outside running game of the Huskies. And I think it's just a matter of the Huskies adapting to everything very quickly. They're quick learners out there, and that's showing.
Everybody up on the line, back in the pocket. Calvin Fay looking downfield. He has a man open, almost intercepted. In and out of the arms of number 15, Jonathan Poppet.
John Poppet last year getting some time on this Huskies defensive unit, doing admirable job when he was there on that particular play. You see him there, he's a little mad at himself. He should have had the pick. Yeah, you should have had the pick, John. But he's smiling a little bit. They'll likely go back to this game, look at the game film, and then say, okay, DBs, we're going out for some practice. We could have had 2 or 3 bingos in that first half alone in this game. And we'll take a look at that and maybe do some tip drills, and maybe next time we can have the ball a little bit more.
Casey Dara, the intended receiver on that one. Dara, another one of those big, tall, lanky wide receivers for the Hawkeyes, and he has been the primary target so far in this football game for quarterback Calvin Fay. Fay, also the punter, gets the ball and almost has that one blocked as well. On the run, taken by Dunlop.
Oh.
Dunlop will garner the no-yard penalty and breaks right up the middle for a gain of close to 40 yards.
Oh.
Dunlop, you gotta be impressed with the way he is fielding the football on those punts.
Well, if you want to make a football team, often you can't make it on the starting positions. You go to the special teams and you say, Coach, I'm ready for anything. And that's exactly what's happening with this young kid. Chris Dunlop, aggressive on that punt return, picks it up on the dead run, no yards on the play, breaks free of the intended tackler, and just goes and fights for yardage. There you see they're showing his high hurdle ability again, and he almost breaks one for the before.
So the Huskies from the Winnipeg 29-yard line.